Hello, this is Dave. I'm in DCS, Digital Combat Simulator, on the island of Guam at Anderson Air Force Base in the Marianas Islands. This is a free map in the free game of DCS, and actually in a free aircraft. This is a freeware user-created enthusiast aircraft mod, and it's a pretty well modeled C130. There's a tiller steering, the yoke controls, throttle. We'll go into ground idle while we're waiting here. Go into the different stations. This is the pilot station, that's the co-pilot seat. Here's the co-pilot station. Go into the back in the cargo area. This is right before the flight deck. There's the load master kind of controls. And I have paratroopers loaded in this. That's because, well, and this is the final aft of the cargo area. Cargo door. Well, there's the cargo door and the controls. There's a troop door. M113 is loaded in here. And I have this load because I'm making this video kind of in advance of National Airborne Day, which is on August 16th. It's a holiday, a US holiday, I think kind of designated or decreed by President George W. Bush way back in the early 2000s to commemorate the first military airborne troop jump. So I'm kind of doing this a lot out of nostalgia. My time in the Army, the US Army, a lot of it was spent in an airborne unit, the Little Rock, the Joint Readiness Training Center, 1st of 509th. And we were the Op 4 unit at the Joint Readiness Training Center. We were garrisoned at Little Rock Air Force Base, and in fact this C-130 coming past my nose is a livery that's based on a unit or plane that's at Little Rock Air Force Base. That's why the tail has the rock on it. We'll start taxiing behind him. So I'm going to try to take off kind of on a parallel runway. Anyway, at Little Rock Air Force Base, we would board the C-130s and fly to Fort Chaffee, northern Arkansas, which was our exercise area. That's where the kind of training center is, or was. It's now in Fort Polk, Louisiana. But I'd always ridden in the back and never up front, so this is my chance to sort of experience it virtually from the flight deck. You know, when I was young, I wasn't that curious about what went on up here, but I kind of was. Well, yeah, I should take that back. I always imagined it was a pretty difficult job, you know, very technical, obviously, but I was pretty critical of the Air Force. You know, there are a lot of people involved when a lot of jobs and whatnot involved in air operations. You know, not just the flight crew, but you know, there are people on the ground, meteorologists, pathfinders, I guess. There's a lot that needs to kind of fall in place. But I was always very critical whenever we were dropped off course, the wind was a little too strong, or there were delays on the ramp, things like that. So I'm just going to run up the engines. My flaps already set. Aircraft's already begun its takeoff roll, so I will do the same. Go to max takeoff. Yep, there we go. Adjust, stay on the runway. Not really a good C-130 pilot. Or any pilot, in fact. Just a virtual simmer. So, let's see, I think I'm at rotation speed. Take off, gears up, flaps up. Let's get behind this aircraft here. So the purpose of this flight and this video is kind of to just experience from a different perspective some of the training I did in the military, which was a long time ago. We're talking back in the early 90s. We all have our lives change, our interests change, they shift. Sometimes you get a little nostalgic. I hadn't actually thought about a lot of this for a long time until I got into VR and flight simulators. And then I saw that this was possible. So I thought, well, why not try to recreate something I used to do from a different perspective. And I'm not going to do a airdrop now. I'm just trying to get a perspective of aircraft flying together, which is actually what happened. We typically would hop in multiple C-130s and fly in formation out to our area of operation, our drop zone. So yeah, I'm actually going to start slowing down, let that guy go off and do their thing. I'm pretty much at ground level altitude, aren't I? Which is what I want. And Guam, which I've never visited, obviously, is an island that has some elevation to it. And so I think it's about 600 feet off above sea level. And so now I'm a little over 100 above. Maybe it's a little less than that. It's kind of hard to tell. We'll see when we get closer. I'm going to put in some flaps. And I've been climbing all this time, so start descending a little. More flaps. gonna open the cargo door. Okay. Now let's see if I can do this.
Landing gear. Landing gear.
Maybe I should drop the landing gear, but nah.
Landing gear.
I'm gonna drop my cargo here.
Landing gear. Landing gear.
Let's see what happened. Did it drop? Oh, I don't think that dropped. Oh, I opened the troop door. Alright, close the troop door. Close the cargo door. I basically don't know my own controls that I mapped. Alright, change of plans. I'm just gonna fly to another area that I was gonna try to drop that M113 over this kind of, I guess it's a radar area. It used to be an airfield. Oh. Flaps are up. I think I have to find a field. You know what? Let's just go back to our airfield where we took off from. You can count on an airfield having plenty of space. Clearings, no trees. That other aircraft is going to be landing at the airfield. So here I am approaching the airfield. We're going to drop our cargo there. First I'm going to drop the 113. And then I'm going to climb out, gain some altitude. I have to do this. I'm going to do this in a low-level manner. It's a LAPES drop is what I'm trying to simulate. And let's get the gear down anyway. So what's my airspeed? Flying into the sun a little bit. That's okay. Drop the cargo door. And
too low flaps. Too low flaps. Too low flaps. Too low flaps.
There we go. Going slow and low. Let's drop the M113. There we go. Huh. Ooh, I think I killed it. Oh, I should pay attention. Gear up. Close the door. Hatch. Cargo door. Flaps up. Alright. That may have been a little too high for that LAPES drop. Set up. I'm pretty much at close to altitude. I'm gonna drop down to 1,500 feet. Alright, there we go. Climb a little bit. Overcorrected. Normally, we drop between, I think it was like 9 to 1,500 feet. 900 to 1,500 feet. But I think in this game, the minimum altitude is 1,500. For parachute drop, so I'm gonna need to climb a bit field. Do need to be somewhat aware where the other aircraft is. It should be landing. I'm gonna go kind of downwind a little bit and start my turn. Try to not ascend or descend too much on the turn. Need to use the rudder to help. Okay, a little too low. Flaps. Start opening up the doors. Let's see. So that should be the wind deflector. And troop door. Let's just double check outside. Yep, wind deflector's out, troop door's out. And 1500. Try to maintain altitude. And let's drop them at 1500. Let's see. Here we go. Uh-oh. Climbing a little. Alright. Close the deflector and the troop door. Those are closed. Flap up. That was our troop drop. Now let's see if I can see where they are. They're still in the air. I can give them some flares to give them a show as they land. Those are chaff cartridges. Let's see if I can find where they are. Oops, that other aircraft is landing, or has landed, and is taxiing. I hope he doesn't run into my paratroopers. Well, I think that's about it. I could always land, but it's kind of boring. Well, not really, but I suppose I could land kind of in a from the wrong direction, but that's okay. It'll be quicker this way. Let's see if I can turn in. Yeah, it's not bad. I do need to gain some altitude. I'm a little low. Airspeed is a little high, so alright. Start my landing. Approach. Gears down. Alright, go into reverse. What happened? Huh. Damaged something. Oh, gear collapsed. Guess it was too hard a landing. Whoops. Oh, still in reverse. Wow, this isn't how I expected the landing to occur. I didn't think it was that hard, but I guess it was. Let's see if I can find the troops. Let's see, there's the M113. Let's see if I can actually taxi to it with this damaged landing gear. Whoops. Oh. Cannot steer very well. To be expected. I'm really wrecking the aircraft. It's a good thing this is a video game. There's that M113 I dropped. Let's zoom in on it. Oh. Yeah, it's all damaged. That was way too high when I dropped it. But the paratroopers look like they're kind of lined up. They have weird uniforms. Let's go up to them. Yeah, I really wrecked this 113, didn't I? Whoops. Okay. Wow, these guys are, they've already packed their chutes. One guy's got an RPG. They're like mixed nationalities. Those are all different uniforms. And then, who's that down there? That's another sticker. So, I guess they all look like they have the same uniforms. One of them has like a UN beret or something. Maybe that's a Russian uniform. Don't know. Don't recognize it. But he's got a Russian-looking RPG. That's for sure. And then everyone else has like U.S. modeled M4 and saws. And, yeah, that's it. Yeah. So much for my airborne operation. Yeah, damaged C130, collapsed left rear landing gear. How did that happen? Let's see, maybe I should shut the engine down, huh? Well, that's a little too boring here for us. But go ahead and do that anyway. Alright, I need a tow. That's all for this video.